Now, what if you don't have an autoimmune diet? What if you don't have an autoimmune disease? Should you do an autoimmune template? Well, here's the deal. The autoimmune template, really the goal is you're cutting out any food that has a higher chance of being hyperallergenic, right? There's a lot of data on these different studies with nuts or seeds that they have one, anti-nutrients in them, right? Oxalates, phytates, they affect protein digestion, mineral absorption, and they can be irritating on the gut lining. So there's a lot of hyperallergenicity, increased immune activity. And then they also have maybe potentially more omega-6 fatty acids that can drive down more of the pro-inflammatory pathway. So the goal is that we're trying to reduce some of these anti-nutrients that have a negative impact on the gut lining. And then number two, we're trying to increase nutrient density. All right. So we're choosing foods that are higher in better fats, right? Fats that are polyunsaturated, fats that are more polyunsaturated, they can be damaged and they can be oxidized, right? So animal fats, coconut oil, saturated fats, not so much. And then just the gut permeability aspect. So we see nuts and seeds fit that criteria. Eggs potentially, even though eggs are awesome and so nutrient dense with a good vitamin A and fat soluble vitamins and cholesterol in the yolk, especially, they're amazing. So sometimes those compounds could be a little bit more allergenic. So can the nightshades with the alpha solanine compound in there and the saponins. They could be a little bit more irritating on the guts, get into the joints, create inflammation. So it depends. The goal is really that it's just a nutrient dense, anti-inflammatory, and then low in toxins, but more importantly, plant toxins, anti-nutrients.
Yeah, well said. And the reason you're bringing up the lectins and some of these other compounds of these foods are because they're going to contribute to increased intestinal permeability. So when you're talking with anyone, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis or some other autoimmune disease, there's always a domino that has to fall, which is that the gut is leaky. This increased intestinal permeability has to take place. Now, we've gone into the details of why that can happen from the infection perspective, low stomach acid, food fermenting in the gut, bacterial overgrowth, parasites, emotional stress, overtraining. We've tried to hit a lot of these different variables that can go into the leaky gut, but you can also have all the lifestyle infection piece dialed in. But if you're eating, let's just say you're doing salsa on your, cassava flour tortillas and your grass-fed ground beef, but you're just doing, I don't know, corn chips and salsa all the time with that. It's possible that a lot of those lectins, like you may get from your nightshades, like your tomatoes and peppers, those can irritate the gut lining, contribute to that leaky gut, and then that's going to increase your autoimmune risk. Or if you're already autoimmune, it may potentially flare you up depending on what's going on.
Absolutely.